Welcome to the channel. We want to look at your purpose, but if we must find it, we must find your passion. There's something you love to do. If we must find the things you've been created to do, we must first know the things you love to do. So we want to find your purpose from your passion. Now let's go into... I want to find your purpose because we believe if we can find the things you love to do, we can find the things you were created to do. There's a word I want us to learn with today, and the word is a chord. A chord is a feeling or an emotion, and you could also refer to it as the combination of two or three musical tones sounded simultaneously. These tones have different implications or meanings, but when combined together, they produce a chord. And it is that chord that is meaningful and is pleasant to your ear. Of course, a tone will give a sound, but you don't want to go to a musical store to get a sound or a tone. You are looking for well combined tones. When we're looking at chord, we are referring to a well combined set of tones. Now, if we now combine that second meaning with the first meaning that we said, so we are having a situation where certain tones are well combined together, at least two or three of them, to produce a chord, which then results to a feeling or an emotion. So if an emotion must be produced, certain chords must be produced. Certain chords are also a result of combined musical tones. So you can see so much meaning can come from a couple of musical sounds or musical tones that are well combined together. Now, our goal is not music. Our goal is your purpose, and we believe if we can find the things you love to do, which is referred to as your passion, we can find the things that you were created to do. Don't forget how we described a chord. When two or three musical tones are combined together, it forms a chord. A chord is what produces a feeling. A chord is what produces an emotion. So when you listen to a music, it is because certain tones have been combined correctly. When tones are not combined well, what you hear is not something you want to listen to. And so it could become offensive to your ear. Our goal is to see a situation where a life is well combined, where certain component of you is combined together towards producing a meaningful and an excellent you. When you're looking at a chord, you are talking about two or three musical tones. But what we want to look at is life, your life, my life. And so there are three things that I've considered that are very critical when we're combined together can produce a meaningful life. The three things are your purpose, your life, your passion. We want to see these three as individual entities, and then want to combine the three together towards having a pleasant life or a meaningful, a beautiful life. Now, when we are talking about your purpose, what are we talking about? The basic implication of your purpose is what you have been created to do. Now, when we are talking about your life, we are looking at what you are doing right now. Now, when we also talk about your passion, we are considering the things you love to do. So looking at the three separately, your purpose talks about the things that you have been created to do. You may not be doing it now, you may not love to do it, but that's what you have been created to do. Now, when we are talking about your life, we are talking about where you are, who you are right now. We are not looking at your purpose or your passion. We are just looking at your life as it is. Where you are, what you are doing at this moment. That talks about your life. Now, when we are talking about your passion, we are talking about the things you love to do. You may not be doing them, but that's what you love to do. Each time you do them, you derive the greatest joy as a person. And the truth is, if you can combine your purpose with your life, with your passion, you're going to have a life that is enviable, a life that is meaningful. So when we're talking about your purpose, we are talking about what you are supposed to do and a life you are supposed to live. And so when you look at the life aspect of it, you are talking about what you are doing right now and the life you are living. So purpose deals with the life you ought to live, the work you ought to do. Your life refers to your current state, while your passion talks about a life that you love to live and the work you love to do. Now for you, the three may actually not be working together currently, but the truth is they can work together. It is possible that the work you ought to do is not what you are doing. It is possible that the work you love to do is not what you are doing. It is possible that what you were created to do is not what you are doing, and it is possible that the life you have been created to live is not what you are living. So it's possible that your current life is not what you love to live and is not what you ought to live. It's important you move on from that understanding. And let me say this again. There is a purpose for your life. There is the passion of your life, and there is your life. Your life refers to your current state, the state of your living, the things you do, the things you are preoccupied with right now, your daily experiences. That is what your life implies. Now, when we are talking about your passion, we are talking about the life you love to live. You might not be living it, but you love it. When we're talking about your passion, we are talking about the work you love to do. You may not be doing it. And then when we are talking about your purpose, we are talking about the life you ought to live and then the work you ought to do. Do you see the difference now? There is your life, there is your passion, there is your purpose. One talks about your current state of living. The other one, purpose, talks about your ideal state of living, your preordained state of living, like your factory design style of living or manner of living. Then when we talk about your passion, we talk about the things you love to do and the life you love to live. Now, why it is possible to live all your life without these three agreeing together? If you can live a life where these three are able to connect together in a well-arranged combination, you can have the right meaning for your life. It is not enough for you to hear sounds. You want the sounds to combine well together. The greatest musicians or the music composers and producers in the world today are not just the people who are able to make the loudest sound. No, they are able to combine their sounds, and that differentiates them from the rest of us. Some of us can do but you can't combine it. They are able to combine it, and so you love what you hear and you are able to pay for it. Now, if you want to live a life that people will love, a life that people will celebrate, a life that is able to make so much impact on everyone around, then you must be able to identify accurately the life you are living right now, the life you ought to live, and the life you love to live. The fact that you love a life does not mean it is a life you ought to live. And so it's important you understand that why the things you love to do are important, the things you ought to do are much more important. And the best thing is for you to find the things you ought to do from the things you love to do. I've realized that there are so many people in the world today that stumble on these combinations. Some people accidentally make some sense with their lives. You wonder suddenly what's going on. They seem to figure it out. They know what to do. What happened is that there is a correct combination of their lives with their purpose and their passion. They are able to combine the things they love to do with the things they ought to do, and then they are able to align their current lives with the things they love to do and the things they ought to do. Now, when those moments take place, you see them and then you ask yourself, what's going on? Something is right with these people. The issue is, how many of them who are able to make those occasional impacts on the people around them, on their own lives, are able to repeat it over a period of time? Now, I don't want you to stumble on this combination. I want you to be deliberate. I don't want you to accidentally find yourself combining your life with your purpose and your passion accidentally. I want you to be deliberate so that you can repeat it. The truth is, if you are not deliberate about these things, then you cannot repeat it. Now, let me say this. Any experience, no matter the experience, once you are not deliberate in creating it, then you cannot deliberately recreate it. It is not enough for you to accidentally, maybe once in a year, stumble on moments of your life that you are able to combine these three things together. You must be able to combine your life well with the things you love to do and the things you ought to do. Don't get carried away by the things you love to do and then you forget that there is something you ought to do. There is a life you ought to live. Of course, you are living a life right now, and there's a life you would love to live. But irrespective of that, you must be able to combine well your life with its purpose and with its passion. If you can find a life whose passion and purpose aligns, then you have found a life that is unstoppable. Many people wake up daily to go to places of work that they have no passion for. And there are so many people who go to places that they really love. Now, they love, but that is not the place they ought to be. So while they love it, they are still not finding fulfillment. One thing you must understand, that there is a difference between you getting some happiness in a place of work and you find the fulfillment there. You see, your fulfillment accompanies your purpose. If you do the things you love to do, you will be happy. If you do the things that you ought to do, you will be fulfilled. There will be this unexplainable joy welling up from your inside that finally, what I have been created to do, I am doing it. I believe that there is something you have been created to do. I also believe that there are things you love to do. My prayer is that the things you love to do are actually the things you've been created to do. But if not, I want you to be more loyal to your purpose than you are to your passion. You see, one thing is very clear, and this is why you must be more loyal to your purpose than you are to your passion. Your environment can alter your passion. Your passion is like your taste bud. It can be changed. You can love something and then you may change later. People can influence the things you love to do. People can influence the life you love to live. Those things may not necessarily be the things you ought to do or a life you ought to live. And one thing is clear. While your passion can be affected by the outside, your purpose can never be altered by anyone or by your society. What you ought to do is what you have been created for. And you will always be true in the place of your purpose. Not always so with your passion. You can have passion for something and then your excellence does not come out. Why? That does not connect with your complete being. There is a treasure inside of you that only comes out when there is an alignment between the things you ought to do and the things you love to do. If there's anything you mustn't forget, and it is, there is something you've been created to do. There is something you love to do. I pray they are the same, but if they are not, you must love the things you have been created to do. There is something you ought to do, a life you ought to live. Love it. If you can love it, you will become unstoppable. I don't want you to live a life that you don't love. I don't want you to live a life that you have no connection with. I want you to find your true connection. And I want you to combine your passion very well with your purpose so that so much will come out of your life. I believe there's so much treasure locked up inside of you, always waiting for beautiful moments to be released. The beautiful moment can be determined by you. You don't have to wait till a time when somebody moves the water for you. You don't have to wait for one moment in a blue moon where suddenly all your total being comes out. You can create it. You can determine it. And the only way to do that is by finding your purpose. You will be able to repeat any performance in the path or in the line of your purpose. Anything you are doing in your purpose can be repeated. You can master it. You can actually multiply it. Why? That is your purpose. So don't just love the things you do. Find the things you ought to do and do it. Love it. And I hope as you do that, you will become an unstoppable being, an unstoppable force in your generation. Many people will wonder that what has made the difference. I believe you'll be bold to tell them, I have found my purpose and I've aligned it well with my passion. Right, we have come to the end of the broadcast today. I believe you have learned something. Don't forget, your life, your purpose, and your passion together, when combined together, can make the best sense out of you. But you must be deliberate with it. Don't allow things to happen by accident. Make deliberate decisions that combines your purpose with your passion, making your life to become more beautiful. If you are new in this channel, I want you to subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell so that each time we have a new video, you'll be the first to get to know about it. I want you to like the video, share it with your friends, and share your comment with me. I would love to see your comment and then reply you as soon as possible. Thank you for the gift of your time.